What's up, guys? OCO to my Nietzsche. Welcome back to the podcast. My mic was not on, but we still here. Welcome to the tribe. OCO to my Nietzsche. This Hood to Hooded podcast is about inspiration, knowledge to keep us motivated and growing. Go ahead and hit that, smash that subscribe button, smash that follow button, and let me know how you feeling. Come on in the building. If you watching on TikTok, tap those hearts. We're trying to get to 1K. Tap those hearts. We're trying to get to 1K. And if you watching anywhere else, tap those hearts. Make sure you smash the subscribe button and let's get started. Let's get started. So, thank you for following 2000. Sit. How you feeling? I ain't gonna even hold y'all. I'm not feeling good. I'm really sick, but I'm still showing up. I'm a little late for my consistency challenge, but I'm still here. So, let's set the tone. Peace to the tribe. If you are here live, welcome, welcome, welcome. Doing well here. How about yourself? I'm doing absolutely fantastic. Well, I can't say absolutely fantastic. In the spirit, fantastic, but I am sick, under the weather right now. But if you just now finding me, I'm on a 365-day live challenge, and today was a struggle, y'all. I'm on like day 75, and today was a struggle. Whenever you're not feeling the best, this is the hardest time for you to show up. Right now, I probably should still be like relaxing, but I can't relax when I have my goals. Like, even sickness can't stop me. Okay? So if you are here, welcome. If you're watching this on the replay, you are still meant to hear this. Tonight we are talking about the digital patrols. White supremacy, identity policing, and the fear of indigenous people self-identifying. I noticed that this is a big problem. Heaps of time to relax when we are old folks home. Ain't that the truth? You got a lot of time to relax when you get older and you don't have any energy. But we try not to age like that. We trying to age with energy, doing yoga. Like, I don't want to age and get stiff. Alright? So tonight we're talking about something that keeps showing up, especially online. I know a lot of us have been impacted by this. There was a young girl on TikTok, lost her life from bullying and internet comments and things like that. So I don't even think she was trying to self-identify. She was just showing up online in her own space. And then you got trolls who will come into your space and attack you because you just trying to mind your business. See, I don't play that BS. You come in here try to attack me, I might mute you. I try not to cuss people out on here because I don't want to get my page banned. I see what the bigger issue is. Whenever you telling the truth, whenever you in your own space, mind your business, you're going to have these fucking digital patrols try to come in your space, say something to get you mad. Just block them. Don't curse them out. Don't go off. Sometimes you might have to, but just block them. And if it's too many, try to use the controls like to filter them. I need to ask you something, doctor. Go ahead. Ask away. Thank you for following, DJ J. Thank y'all for tapping those hearts, right? So why are so many non-indigenous folks, white folks, and we know the pretendians, are obsessed with policing indigenous identity? I want to know why they are so obsessed with policing us. Offline and not online. Why? Why they bully, interrogate, harass, and attack when we self-identify? I want to know why. What are you afraid of? Why? And why this behavior is not random. It's systemic. You've been trained to be this kind of delusional way. All in other people's damn business. As if you know the identity of every person on the earth to the point where you can just look at them and tell them where they from. See, this is the problem about colonization, white supremacy, because it tricks you into thinking that you're something that you're not, and that other people are something that they're not, because they believe their own construct. They're entitled to regulate it. I think that's what it said. Yeah, they believe their own construct, and they try to put that on other people who are just trying to figure out what the hell colonization did to the tribes and to their legacy, which we all know happened on purpose with violence and force. So why everybody acting like they don't understand, they don't know? These are people who trying to trick you out your spot. These are people who trying to knock you off and get you demonetized and do all these things and have you going off and acting crazy. And no, folding every time they say something. Block their ass. Okay? When I go live now, I use the Nightbot. I don't know about TikTok. I think TikTok has its own filters. I just wanted to know your honest opinion about my smile. Okay. I don't know how I'm going to give it to you. It looks like from the picture your smile looks healthy, but I mean the picture can't really tell you. Good evening, Doc. How you feeling? I'm feeling under the weather, but I'm still here. Yeah, I have been sick all day. Honestly, guys, this entrepreneurship stuff been stressing me out so bad that it has me like sick physically now. You know, but I'm making it, taking it a day at a time. A healthy smile. Okay, I like it. Sardine sandwiches. I don't eat sardine sandwiches. I like sardines though. Self-made personality just got that number to get their badge. So again, what's up, Tiff Rainey? Just got the daily heart me. How come you didn't come home last night? What? How you know where I was last night? I have a business that needs clients. Post your business then. You might find a client in here. Y'all crazy. Y'all crazy on TikTok. Y'all tap the screen. I'm gonna start muting one person a minute. I know that's right. Tap that screen, guys. We're trying to get the 1K hearts. What the hell is this? It's alive, duh. I'm making sardine sandwiches extra spicy for sale plus free delivery. I never had a sardine sandwich. Like, is it just bread and sardines? What do you put on it? Get well, Doc. You cover well. You look radiant. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I gotta get well. I can't keep stressing like this, but I ain't gonna put my stress on y'all, but just, you know, keep each other lifted up in positive prayers, and we just gotta take it a day at a time. I can't even lie. If you ever trying to be an entrepreneur, they lie. It ain't easy. It's hard as fuck. Every day I be like trying to get through these first 5 years, and it's tough. It's one of the hardest things I ever did. Harder than, I don't know about harder than dental school, but it's not harder than dental school, but it's up there. Sardine sandwich. The ghetto got a ghetto now. Onions, tomatoes, hot pepper, some cheese, and honey mustard. I think you just playing around. I ain't never had a sardine sandwich. Yeah, I ain't never had no sardine sandwich. I don't know nothing about that. Sardines work with dill pickle and peanut butter. Don't hate hate me for making killer sandwiches. Oh, there's a lot of people talking about these sardine sandwiches. What the hell going on? I'm dead ass. You dead ass? What? I love sardines, but I never had it as a sandwich. When my grandma used to take us fishing in Florida, we used to have like sardines and freaking, what was it called? The Vienna sausages, but we never put it on a sandwich. Maybe like a cracker. Y'all might be on to something. But I don't know about with peanut butter and dill pickle. It ain't really hitting in my head like it sounds. Sardines, saltines, and some Frank's hot sauce. That's what I'm talking about. Who was that? OG in the flesh? There we go. We gonna keep it simple. Y'all add peanut butter and it's too much for me. It's too much. Everybody got a different taste bud, because I can't picture, I don't even think I could like chew it if it had peanut butter or What was the other thing? Onions, tomatoes, hot pepper, cheese, and honey mustard on top. I don't know. Like, is it grilled onions and tomatoes? Like, okay, y'all get me off subject, but this is interesting. A classic sardine and a cracker with hot sauce would do for me just fine. Okay, like, like let's keep it classy. Y'all very creative when it comes to the sardines. I can tell you that much. See, now my signature dish is peanut butter, fried spam, dill pickles, American cheese on whole grain toast. Ooh, I ain't even frying them up, but what's up with the peanut butter with the spam and pickle? Sometimes I make it together with okra soup and eat it fufu. What? Anybody talking about Franks know what they talking about. Oh Lord. See, I'm a Crystal's hot sauce person myself. Honestly. Y'all have blew my mind with this sardine. I ain't know sardines were so popular. I thought they was just out the can hot sauce and wham bam thank you ma'am. I could eat a good sardine by itself. Yeah. Alright, so tonight we're not talking about feelings, we're talking about power. The poorest meal I ever had was a ketchup sandwich. Oh my Lord, I ain't never had a ketchup sandwich. Maybe a grilled cheese sandwich. A ketchup sandwich? Oh my God. The poorest meal I had was probably ramen noodles. And I hate ramen noodles. I hate them. Try this sardine called Sardines Annie. You will like it. Now, I ain't gonna even hold you now. I'm against colonization and all this, but they, most of the food in the store is not by us. But the sardines, is it King, Oscar, or something like that? They the best. They make it in Morocco. The King, Oscar, I think it is. They the best. Canned fish has become a thing. 30-cent cans of sardines going for $20. Oh, me and ramen in a cup, friends for life. R.I.P. ZZ. Yes. R.I.P. I meant Rizzy. Most Love just got that number 3 gifter badge. Lay just got y'all switching up with the gifter badges. Yeah, so bullying online is a problem, especially for the people who are trying to self-identify, realizing how history has lied, erased them, and now we have a whole nother issue. Digital patrols, bullies, and people out here taking it to the heart. They listening to the bullies, they listening to the haters who trying to break your spirit. Anytime you got someone else in your chat trying to tell you who you are or bullying you, they trying to break your spirit. And the one thing we can't do is let them succeed at breaking our spirit. Sorry, Chief, this sandwich distraction. I know. Y'all just had me intrigued with sardines. I'm like, dang, I didn't know sardines were hitting like this. Oh goodness, I needed that laugh. Not including she was dealing with mental health, was in a mental home at the time it happened. That is so sad. And people don't understand how bad mental health can have you down. Where are you from? I'm from Florida. Self-made personality. Thank you for thank you for following. I'm from Tallahassee, Florida, but right now I live in New York. I have a dental practice in New York, but I'm from the Sunshine State, home of the Appalachie, the Seminoles. Okay, so yeah, bullying is at an all-time high, especially if you're in this knowledge war, if you're in this indigenous battle to know who you are, you uncovering who you are, you recognizing who you are, you're gonna have bullies. Yes, I appreciate you speaking on us. I'm bringing awareness to it all over the app. Cool, I love your fashion. Thank you. Yes, bringing awareness to this app, bringing awareness to all apps so that people know you will get targeted. When I first started going live, I had to literally go into the modification and put in every possible way you could spell Nigga because people get creative. They'll start putting threes. I was like, oh, y'all motherfuckers gonna get creative. So I went and I asked the chat, hey, chat GPT, tell me every kind of way you can spell this word, and I banned it. Anytime somebody put something in the chat I don't like, I ban the word. So people be trying to, you can't type it, because I blocked it. Because I know how these people are. They don't want you to self-identify. They don't want you to know who you are. Especially pretending. They gonna come in all in your business, but you don't see us all on their side. Maybe, I don't know. I don't go in their business because I don't care about who you are. Obviously, when we tell you who we are, the world has a problem. But as we know from this podcast, coming from slave raiding, which is legalized kidnapping here in America, which is the foundation of enslavement. Oh wow, I didn't know the app had the features. Yes, I don't know about TikTok, but TikTok has live creator studio, and I'm sure they probably have that feature. And if not, we need to tell them, hey, y'all need to get better filters. I'm sure they probably have it on TikTok, but all the other streaming, I use Streamlabs, you can do that. Stream Elements, all of them should have it, where you can filter these things out, so you don't have to be stressed about what people gonna say. But some people don't know about that. This is why a lot of people don't go live, because you will have trolls. Okay? But I don't play with the trolls. I would cuss your ass out if I have to, but I try not to do that, because that gets you, no. Okay? So if this conversation makes you uncomfortable, sit with that for a second. Discomfort is often the doorway to the truth. So many people get discomfortable or feel discomfort or get uncomfortable when we present the truth, especially about history. Regardless of what side you're on, it may make you feel a little uncomfortable talking about this subject. So what is the subject? What is the topic? Let's be clear and see what we're missing. Every time an indigenous person speaks about our lineage, our land, our heritage, our history, especially our sovereignty, there is a group that rushes in with, prove it. What is your source? You're fake. Blood quantum. You don't look indigenous. That's not curiosity. That is policing. Digital policing. All y'all doing is digital patrolling, and we don't give a fuck how you feel. I'm a sandwich troll. Please don't ban me. I ain't gonna ban you. You just hungry, man. Speak on it. See you. You spitting that fire. That is not curiosity. That is policing, guys. And policing of every form has a history in this country, and I see it all over the internet. It's like, why the hell do I have to prove to you who I am? Why? Why do I have to waste my time to prove to you anything? Because I don't give a fuck how you feel. To be honest, excuse my French, but I really don't. When I got my records and I did my genealogy, that's all the proof I need for my spirit. Now, how you feel, if it makes you uncomfortable, I don't really care about that. You all in our business, all on our pages. We trying to lift our people, wake people up, and you got all of these digital patrols, all in the business. America has always used patrols to maintain white supremacy. And the Pretendians, they do it for free because they get benefits. They get federal recognized and all this other stuff. They folded. And the one thing about those Mississippian tribes, though, the Mississippian mound builders, the indigenous autochthonous Niji, the Amerindians, we don't fold. Them Seminoles, unconquered. Make sure you know that fact. What do they call the people who patrol and try to maintain white supremacy? They're known as the slave patrols. They were called Indian agents, census takers, missionaries, boarding schools. Okay? These systems weren't about order. They were about control. So when you see the bullies online, they about control to get you to shut the hell up, because you obviously exposing them. Go on, I'll focus now. I'm gonna walk away from the keyboard and make some crab cheese dinner with smoked chili. I'm listening. You is hungry. What time is it? Where you at? This is the second time in 2 days I've heard the word pretending. I never heard it before. Really? Some people don't want to be unplugged from the matrix. That's straight up facts. Straight up facts. Tinsley my Nizzy. Got the laughing face. What's going on, Tinsley my Nizzy? You got a Donald Trump face. I don't know what that means, but yeah, they don't want to wake up from the matrix. Especially the pretendians. They so deep into it. They so committed to the government. They got the reservations. They feel who want a reservation? Like, we don't ever see y'all unless you coming online. Where y'all be at? Hiding. That government got you hiding out. When you come out into regular life, you don't even put on those pretending clothes. You trying to look like us. They so ghetto now. They'll come all in your stuff. Acting. I met one of the pretendians. I'm like, damn, you act more ghetto than me. I thought y'all was. Come on, man. Okay, anywho, these systems weren't about order. They were about control. Who counts as human? Who counts as indigenous? Who get land? Who get erased? Fast forward to today, the uniforms are gone, the horses are gone, but the patrols are still here. They live in the comment sections, they live in the algorithms, and they live in the fact checking that never checks power. Only people. They never checking the colonizer. Never. Never. So what is white supremacy? Let's talk about it. Since y'all want to be so supreme, let's talk about it. White supremacy is not just hoods and hate groups. Let's make that clear. That's the cartoon version, right? We turn on the ghetto, they want to be ghetto fabulous 24/7. Right. Right. So, real white supremacy is quieter. It's the belief that white institutions get to define reality. They stepped on this land, started doing slave raiding, kidnapping indigenous people, and thought that this was humane. Bird brain type behavior, crackhead-ish type shit, right? They thought that white validation determines legitimacy. Okay? And white discomfort matters more than indigenous truth. Now this one, that's the key. They feel like white discomfort because now you're talking about it. Now you're reading about it. Now you making us take accountability for the history, and we don't want to. We just want to keep being bullies. We want to keep on this outplayed, this outdated ass supremacy type mindset that ain't helping nobody. It ain't even helping y'all no more. Because it ain't nothing to do with nothing but hate. And we don't get down with hate. That's why the Niji, the Amerindians, can't really hate so much, because that ain't really part of our DNA. We really got to go to another place to start hating all of this. And all of the history, it can make you start hating, right? But they are born, they have a history of just hating. And they act like it's a good thing. They act like this is the tea. They act like it's lit. But nobody want to be like y'all. Nobody want to be full of hate like that. You know? So when indigenous people self-identify outside of colonial approval systems, it breaks the spell. And that's what's happening. We are learning the true history that was never taught in school, and it was going to never be taught in your lifetime. We had to teach ourselves this history. There's so many scholars and historians and new scholars, people who wanted to know who they are. They did their genealogy. They found out their ancestors were not shipped on no boats. And then people start getting mad because it break the colonial approval system. A system that when George Washington wrote the 1790 Naturalization Act, he said the only free person was white, male, people of good character, while he had 300 people enslaved. That's what I'm saying. They was on that Molly. I'm just saying, they was on that Molly. They was on that stuff for them to even think that this was going to fly forever. I'm just saying. So, when the spell breaks, the system panics. When you come out and you speak about who you are and you say you American Indian, the system panics. Their biggest mistake, they gave us the internet. The truth is our ancestors invented the internet. But their biggest mistake was trying to colonize the internet. Their biggest mistake was trying to build these apps to keep people out. You remember Facebook was for college students. That's their biggest mistake. Their biggest mistake was thinking that you could erase history and write what the hell you wanted and just lie. The other day we talked about the doctors who said that we had a disease and we needed to be diagnosed with drapetomania because we wanted to be free and didn't want to be under their control because God told them to control us. They had this as science. Just a bunch of lies. Property owners were people in the context of 1776. All right. Now this is where it gets a little sharp. Pretendians and their proximity to power. Pretendians want the aesthetics of indigeneity. They want to be, they used to appear to us like, oh, those are the indigenous people. Before we knew the truth, you ain't never hear them, you ain't never see them. They pretty much didn't exist until we realized who we were. Now they all out. They want the credibility. They want the moral authority. But they don't want the dispossession. They don't want the genocide. They don't want the intergenerational trauma. They don't want the surveillance. Oh no. Meaning only property owners, my bad. Right? But see, the thing about 1776, they were making laws to ban us from owning property. They were banning us from they were just banning anything indigenous because we were not white male Christian princes, according to the Vatican. If you had land, they said you can't even own your land. I always remind y'all, go look at the movie Sarah Rector. You can see how they stole the land. They even said that she inherited 160 acres, Sarah Rector. She found that she had oil on her land. Do you know they was unaliving the little kids for their land, sending bounty hunters? Oh yeah, for their land. So nothing that they took was downright legal. It was all violence. That's why I said America has a history of violence that they try to sanitize nowadays. They try to sanitize with the pretendians. They try to sanitize with all of the, they took off certain words. They try to make everything a law. They try to sanitize it as if they are good people. They try to sanitize the presidents to make them feel like they were patriots. But they were the most evil of them all. So when real indigenous people speak with confidence, and I need you to speak with confidence, when we speak with memory and clarity, it threatens the whole society. That's why everybody focusing on us. You think they focusing on anything else right now? The presidency, the laws, everything focusing on the melanated people. We the hottest topic. And the pretendians don't like that. Because proximity to indigenous sacredness without accountability is profitable. Right? Self-identification exposes the fraud. This is why with the UN drip, they say, hey, we have the right to self-identify. The United States was one of the last countries to join that ideology. They did not want us to have the ability to self-identify because it erases their whole political trafficking scheme. George Washington did that, and he was mulatto. He said 100 years they won't know they are Moors. George Washington was a bitch. He was. All of them. The presidents are bitchs. George Washington used slave patrols to go and capture one of his female runaways. George Washington inherited his wife's slaves through a will. Martha Washington. George Washington was a bitch. And I mean it. I don't care what he said. I don't care what he did. He's not my hero. He wasn't my president. He was someone who sat up here and that like people were like, oh, you're a natural citizen of the United States, even though they just immigrated over here. If you were white, he was the biggest white supremacist. And yeah, they thought that we were unhuman. It's sad. Anywho, self-identification is dangerous to white supremacy. Why? Because it says, I don't need your permission to exist. And this is what we running into the problem. Where do y'all feel like we need your permission to exist? We need your permission to self-identify. We got to prove something to them of who we are. No, you don't have to prove nothing to nobody but yourself. And that is the problem with this government. They want you to prove. People want you to prove. Why are you proving what you? Because we brought the proof to the maximum. Ain't no other people bringing no proof. They don't have to bring no proof for white supremacy. The only proof for white supremacy is that you got hate in your heart. That's the proof right there. That's the only proof you need. Satan is in CA sifting me like wheat. I even have the boils of Job to prove it and videos posted. I don't understand. You're going to have to break that down for me. Alright. Our ancestors didn't carry birth certificates. I bring my DNA, period. That's all we need. They didn't carry DNA tests or federal recognition letters. They carried land memory, oral history, kinship, culture. The culture that they say, oh, where's your culture? You mean the one that y'all tried to fucking erase? The one that y'all try to ban us from wearing our clothes, ban us from speaking, ban us from... If you gonna ban somebody from reading and writing, you can only imagine what other bans they had. Because what kind of sick, twisted person don't want a person to read and write? This is what I'm saying. Even back then, they was all in our business. Encroaching on your land, worrying about what you're doing, taking census, doing research. All in our business. When does it stop? Colonial systems only work if identity must be approved externally. Self-identification restores authority of the people. Ban our hair. Let's talk about it. They ban you getting in a group. They ban you being unemployed. They banned you from not going to church. What else did they ban, guys? They banned pretty much everything. Breathing, sleep, banned it. What kind of psycho-delusional ass troll does that? Just think about it. And they feel like this is something positive. That's the issue. They feel like this action, this type of behavior is positive. And it's everything opposite of positive. That's why you can't listen to a white supremacist. Because their whole thing is to prove to you that I'm better than you because I'm just white and evil and hateful. And if you think that's better, then we obviously are two different people. Right? Two different people. The whole purpose of white supremacy, it's been proven over and over again, is to break your spirit, make you feel helpless. Jizzle just got that #1 gifter badge. Thank you for the rose. It's to break your spirit, guys. A long name 877 is now following. Thank you for following. And it's sad. So how do you protect your peace in a world of can't even talk. White supremacy and pretendians always trying to clock your tea? How? Let me tell you something very important. You do not owe strangers your genealogy. You do not owe trolls your labor. You don't owe them no type of explanation. If you going live and you talking your stuff and you trying to figure out who you are and learn, just understand there are going to be people who have been trained from historical accounts that are professional haters. Let's call it what it is. They're professional haters, they're professional genociders, and they're professional losers. So they got to do all of this just to make themselves feel better than you. They're going to not teach you about melanin, not teach you the truth about history. We got nothing to prove to these people. That is my whole point. You have nothing to prove to these people. I'm not wasting my time arguing with you. Because why am I having to prove something to you? You actually need to be trying to prove something to me. Okay? Because I don't really care how you feel. We got to get to the point. We don't really care how you feel. I'm not finna prove nothing to you. I'm not finna argue with you for an hour. I'm not finna get outside of my character for you and waste my energy. I got better shit to do. Okay? Silence is not weakness. Setting boundaries is not fear. When I come live, I set boundaries because I already knew, oh, these trolls are here to get you distracted. When I first started going live, especially on Kick, it was the worst. I really had to go and put all those bans on the words because they still think that N-word gonna trigger you. And it does trigger some people when they use the N-word. They think that's gonna trigger you. So that's their main source of attack. Sorry, guys. This little cold or whatever is kicking my booty. Ugh. But they think that's gonna trigger us. Again, we don't owe them no explanation. If you block them, this is not defeat. You just block them from distracting you. If anybody come into my comments, I don't like what you saying, your ass getting blocked. Okay? Know that ye are gods. Right? So our ancestors survived genocide. You don't need to survive comment sections. Fuck them comments. You don't have to survive that. You already know how they coming. You already know they coming with heat. But as far as the young lady, Rizzy, that took her life on a live, it's sad. Some people don't have the strength to, tune them out, and it's sad. So I'm just trying to give y'all some motivation to let you know these trolls coming. We in a whole different age. This is the age of the awakening, and a lot of people are mad because they getting pushed off a throne that was never theirs. We're not trying to be federally recognized because this is saying that the government is still over us. Why would I want to be federally recognized from the same government that enslaved me, from the same government that made wealth off of the backs of my ancestors in every way, shape, or form? The government that had to cheat their whole way for 400-500 years. They had to cheat every second of the way. Cheat, steal, lie, destroy. Still doing it right now. Why would I want them to recognize me? Actually, I want y'all to disconnect from me. I want out of your system. I don't want nothing to do with your system. And then you and the pretendians can go over there and y'all have y'all white supremacy and hate over there. I don't want to be involved in it. But the problem is they need us to be a part of the system, to be the lower part of the system, to make the system even work. Because if we not a part of the system and we outside as indigenous, the power shrinks. So in order for these two people to be in their place, they got to put us in a box, in a category, and lie. But the issue is we know who we are now. All of the evidence shows it. They don't want to read the evidence because it's showing. They want to act like they don't see it, act like they don't remember, act like, no. The day and the time will come where you will reap what you sow. Personally, I travel some pretty great comment sections. Pick your circle of influence, y'all. There's good folks out there. Very good folks out there. I really don't have to deal with them in my comments. Sometimes I see them in the comments, but I just put one of those faces like you aggravate me face. I don't even respond no more. I just put an aggravated face like, shut up. Like, if they really say something crazy, I might respond. But 9 times out of 10, I'm not giving you my energy. Thank you for following. Another long name, 779. This guy Fuentes is teaching people to attack our live streams. We are winning all day. They teaching people to attack our live streams. See what I'm saying? Who's spending their time? Hey guys, go attack the pretendians. Like, who finna do that? We don't care enough. Why y'all gotta do that? If you so sacred, so indigenous, the land ain't gonna speak for you, right? Obviously the land ain't speaking for you. The sun ain't matching. Something ain't lining up if y'all gotta do all of this hateful stuff. Send people to lives and like, who got time for that? I need you to send them to my live. Because you're just going to get blocked. It's just going to be a waste of time. I'm telling you, it's just going to be a waste of time. Block party. Fuck out of here, man. So this is not about trying to find the truth. This is about them trying to stop it. That's the whole moral, is to stop you from speaking, stop you from feeling indigenous, to trick the people who slightly waking up, to make them feel like, no, you a slave. They love that. Oh, go back to Africa. What are you talking about? Go back to Ellis Island and trace your way back to Scotland or Norway or somewhere over there. Y'all talking about go back somewhere. How can you say that when you are 100% immigrant? How? I need y'all to stop using that line. It don't really make sense to me. Mr. and Mrs. Ellis Island. It don't really make sense. Mr. and Mrs. Steamboat. I need you to pipe down. Because we know one thing. Your ancestors came from over there. You came over here trying to tell people who was already here that they weren't here. It don't work no more. The lie just, it's so played out. It don't work. We tearing y'all a new a-hole. And y'all don't like it. You gotta send people lies and troll. Like, where you... The psychoness of it all is what I'm saying. Right? Because once we indigenous people remember who we are, the myth collapsed. The matrix collapsed. The moral high ground disappears. Those same jokes you used to use when people was young and didn't understand who they were, they don't work no more now. You try that, we coming with the real facts, and it's probably gonna hurt your feelings. It's gonna hurt your feelings. The story of discovery dies when you know who you are. And once the truth is remembered, it does not go back to sleep. Right now, it's a lot of us sitting in a jail cell. A mental jail cell, that is. We don't know who we are. We fell for every trick of the trade. We fell for the white supremacy. We fell for the reclassification. We fell for the religious requirements. We fell for being obedient and turning the other cheek. We fell for it all. But there will come a day when you will finally see something that is going to pierce your brain, where you have this white supremacy blocking you out from the truth. Something one day is going to pierce your brain. You're going to run into one piece of knowledge, and it's going to wake you the hell up, and you're going to be like, oh my goodness, I'm really indigenous to this land. And you'll see, dang, these colonizers never meant good for me. Duh. And those people will walk out of that jail cell. They're going to be like, dang, I had no chains on my arms. There were no prison guards. The jail door was completely open. I just been in here asleep because I didn't want to read. I didn't really want to know because they told me who I was and I believed them. But you have to tell yourself who you were. So many of us want to go to this live and that live and hear from this person. But I'm going to tell you something. If you don't go do your genealogy, you will never truly be woke. You have to go do that research on yourself. You sit on the job all day. You're celebrating all these holidays. But I need us to celebrate who we are. Celebrate that genealogy. That's step one to waking up. The next step is reading. In order to be a leader, you must be a reader. There's no way around it. Now with ChatGPT, you can go and research any topic you interested about history and just read about it. It brings it all to you right here in one little sitting. You can go to Perplexity AI and read these difficult subjects. If you American Indian, it's colonized a little bit, so be careful. But reading is going to change. Reading books. This is how you break the spell. And one should remember, I promise, you will never go back into that cell full of people lying to you, full of the lies of history. You will never go backwards. You will only move forward. All right? So we focus on spiritual sovereignty right now. Like, it's just sad because it's a hard part of the year. People are depressed. The grocery bills are higher. Everything is higher. The country is at war, really. It's a knowledge war. I love Perplexity. Yes, Perplexity AI. Go use it. I'm an AI fan. I love AI. They say AI taking jobs, but it ain't gonna take mine because I'm gonna be using the AI. I think that AI has transformed the way I create. Everything is up. Facts. It has transformed the way I create, the way I research. I do it a lot faster, which is why people are scared, because if you don't use it, you get left behind and you feel like, oh, I don't need it, and you just working harder. And I'm not really about working harder. AI changed my life. even as far as content production, as far as being able to upload faster, create shorts. It just does so much. So we don't want to get left behind in this day and age. If you're trying to wake up, use AI to your advantage. You know, you trying to get sovereignty, whatever you need help with, try to use it to your advantage. Don't be afraid of it. Okay? So we're in the age of knowledge, the age of spiritual sovereignty. And I would like to report one tribe in Georgia, they just got their sovereignty. Let me see if I can pull their picture up on TikTok. They just got their recognition from the state of Georgia. And I think that's so freaking cool. Now y'all know I struggle with this effect stuff. Let me see if I can pull it up. I can't really pull it up. But if you go to look up, it's a tribe, December the 15th. They just got recognized by the state of Georgia. I thought I saved the picture, but I didn't. But we seeing things like that. And even after that, you'll see people under the comments with the racist remarks. Trying to tell these people, no. It's like, y'all got to pipe the hell down at the end of the day. Right? So we got two systems operating at the same time. And most people are confused because they mix them up. You got a legal identity, and then you have a spiritual and ancestral sovereignty. Now, the legal identity is created by the government. It's enforced by institutions, written on paper, changeable, and is designed to control us. The spiritual ancestral sovereignty is older than governments. It's passed through blood, land, memory. All right? It can't be revoked. It can't be issued. So white supremacy survives by convincing people that the first one is the only one that matters. They try to convince you that your legal identity is the only thing that matters and that you don't need sovereignty. They try to disband that word. Hopefully you forget that word, because they only want you to depend on them for control. They don't want you to be sovereign. And Sarah Rector, they said that her parents couldn't even be over her estate. That she had to have a white male guardian over her. Back in the day, they was taking people, even kids who were living with their mom and dad, to court to take their land and their property, because they said the mom and the dad couldn't even be over it, that they weren't fit. And then the white man who would be over the children would sell the property from under the melanated people. Like, it was all just tricks going on left and right. Deborah Polar, thank you for liking the stream. Thank you for liking the stream. Alright. So why is the law treated like God? We gotta tell it straight. Colonial society worships paper. If it's not written, if it's not stamped, if it's not archived or approved, it's dismissed. Why? Because paper can be controlled. Spiritual sovereignty cannot be controlled. This is why indigenous people are constantly asked, are you federally recognized? Do you have documents? Is that official? Because they know they wrote the official lies. These questions don't come from truth seeking. They come from obedience control. Just trying to control your obedience to make sure you ain't went to the other side, which a lot of us have recognized. You know what? We're going to be obedient to our sovereignty, to our ancestors, not this government. That's white supremacy's favorite trick. This is what they try to pull out. It convinces people that legality equals legitimacy, paperwork equals humanity, institutions equals truth. And that's not so. So if your identity exists outside of the system, they treat you as dangerous. They stole the government and will never admit it. Facts. That's one part of history that really kind of has me stumped. I'm not going to even hold you. It's the part where 1790, I think it was John Hanson, he helped them. Someone was saying that he helped them. He was in the pictures. If you go back and look at that time, he helped them write the government based on our existing government. I haven't really found the evidence of that, but I just heard it in someone else's live. So I'm sure if I go and do enough digging, I will find that they stole the government. I already see that they stole like the Iroquois, Confederate type government, because we had our own institutions over here. They just try to erase it all. People don't understand. The other day when I did the live about slave raiding, this really tied the puzzle together for me, because when you read Christopher Columbus' journal, you'll see the energy that he pulled up to the islands. He pulled up like he had already knew the style of what he was doing, and I didn't understand it back then when I was reading his journal, that he was doing slave raiding, meaning pull up to the land, identify the village, identify the chief, wait for them to go to sleep, go raid the village at dawn, set everything on fire, pow, pow, pow as they ran out, take the children and the kids and the young men hostage, meaning raiding, slave raiding. Okay? So this is the foundation of white supremacy. This is the foundation of this government. When they came over here, they copied that model. They would pull up to the village, find the chief, ask for the gold. Then when the people go to sleep, they think these people gone. They outside of the village at dawn, setting stuff on fire. But people are at their weakest. It's some coward type shit they was doing. The slave raiding. And then with the slave raiding, these were professional kidnappers. This was before the government. This was before the slave patrol. The early 1500s all the way to the 1600s was slave raiding. Coming over here, kidnapping people, and selling them, sending them to the islands, sending them to Europe. So actually, slavery was taught in reverse. This is the embarrassing part of history. They don't want you to know that they were professional kidnappers, traffickers, right? And then in 1704, these professional kidnappers got a badge, y'all. Called themselves the Slave Patrol. This is before the government. And then in 1790, they started calling themselves the police. The militia turned into the military. Okay? So when you think about what we're dealing with, these are dangerous people who actually participated in this angry, psychotic activity of controlling a land through force. Controlling a land through lying on paper. And a system that is still feeding off of this. Yes, y'all try to sanitize it and all that, but I can never get over the 13 presidents enslaving people. I can never get over that. The founding forefathers. I would never forget that. I would never forget how y'all treated our people. And now y'all want to act like y'all so holier than thou. Okay? When indigenous people such as ourselves start to self-identify, you will notice that they will never say, tell me more. I want to learn. They don't want to learn. They're going to turn it into aggression, into mockery, interrogation, dogpiling. This should tell you everything you need to know. Anytime you can control someone and they getting angry just because you telling them who you are, you already got to know that this pushes them out of that spot. Now they can't pretend no more. Those 5 civilized tribes have nothing on our sovereign hundreds of tribes. And that's why y'all sad. Because you took the little piece of breadcrumbs that the government fed you. You thought this was going to last forever. You thought being on a reservation was going to be the hot shit forever. Until you seen these Niji out here that they told y'all supposed to be slaves. The littest people on the planet. The best in basketball. The best in tennis. Swimming. Whatever you name, we're going to be the best. Even through oppression. Even through oppression, we're going to be the best. But meanwhile, you supposed to be indigenous? How the fuck? I think indigenous would be the best at everything. The best at dancing, the best at drawing, the best at everything. When you the best, they're not going to call you supreme. They're trying to act like you not. The best at making music. Y'all probably on the reservation bumping that Tupac. Like, stop. Like, stop. While slaving people, they wrote the Declaration of Independence. You better know it. You better know it. While enslaving people, they put them on the money. While enslaving people, they wrote a lot of the laws. While enslaving people. The Great Law of Peace, written by the Iroquois Council of Nations, is where our Bill of Rights and parts of the Constitution were borrowed from. Somebody wrote, steal their words, and willed them. Oh my God. Now I gotta write this down, y'all. You might have just cracked something for me that I was trying to figure out. Will them against their source. He said I gotta write this down. I need my researchers to get on it. The great law of peace. Thank you for that, Pit Sniper Husker. Written for the Iroquois Council of Nations Bill of Rights. So I'm gonna dig into this because I really want to know about this and John Hanson and what happened for them to start their government, because they were kidnapping us. They started their government. They made money from kidnapping us. Before cotton was a crop, we were the crop. That's what they call it, shadow slavery. They thought that we were just property. I learned that they were doing the raiding, right? They could go into your house anytime. They could stop you for any reason. They didn't need nothing. For 200 years, they kidnapped. Then they had to get a little smart because it was too messy. And they said, okay, well, now we got the slave patrol and the slave codes. And then once they figured out how to do the government, obviously from doing the great law of peace, from the Iroquois Council, they learned how to put it into law. Where if you weren't a white Christian male prince, you were not human. And this was coming from the Vatican, from the church decrees, all the way from 313, all the way from the 1400s. The doctrines of discovery, the papal bulls, all of that said that if you were not a Christian white male, that you were not human in their eyes. The word stealing thing might have been Machiavelli. So curiosity will listen. Someone is curious, they will listen. But if they in power, they gonna panic because they know that you woke up. Yeah, while enslaving people, they wrote a lot of laws while enslaving people. That's why people say 4th of July, why y'all celebrate that? Because we were still technically enslaved. They had nothing, their government really didn't have nothing to do with us. Because they were saying only white naturalized men could be a part of the government. But what they were doing was stealing so much that we was fighting for our land, and they was like, okay, well, to get you to shut up, we'll say you 3/4 of a human. Like, how I got melanin, you don't, and you calling me 3/4 of a human? If the skin is the largest organ on the body, and my skin has melanin, and melanin has a defense mechanism against the sun, and yours don't, I don't know if you're 3/4 or period. Stop fucking playing with us. If y'all know that the highest place where they did enslavement was the Southeast, Florida, Georgia, Mississippi, South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, Louisiana. This was the highest concentration. You already know what people still here. Do you see Native Americans? When I go home, all I see is this melanin, and I see a lot of slave patrols, but I don't never see no Pretendians. I wonder why. Because we were the Indians. Yep. It goes all the way back to the Vatican. Convert or die. Make them slaves. You already know it. It came from the Vatican. Yo, can y'all please follow me? I need 300 more followers. It all came from the Vatican. Now that is the biggest trick of it all. It came from the Pope. The Christian church said, hey, they gonna convert to Christianity and die. And a lot of people don't realize why they're Christian now. Because back in the day, when they had slave patrols and slave raids and kidnapping people and making up laws such as you can't read, and if you didn't have a job, then we're gonna lock you up and make you go to work for free. Laws such as now you gotta go to Sunday school, and they had the slave patrol here making sure you was preaching out the Bible, making sure you weren't trying to revolt. They had to watch over the sermon because you were forced to go to church, and you was forced to read what was in the Bible until it became innate. Now they don't have to sit in a church with you every day. And we wonder why so many of us are Christian. I'm sorry, not sorry. I came from a Christian background, religious, all of that. And the biggest thing was finding out the truth. Really, it can really break your heart a little bit. Like, damn, they got me. Like, damn, I thought I was But when you see what the Vatican and the Pope said, it just irritating to me. The lies. Pretendians often cling to legal definitions because that's the only way they can justify proximity to this land. Alright? If your identity requires you to enroll to have approval or some fake ass blood quantums that have nothing to do with blood, you're not indigenous. Then you can argue your way in. You can say, oh no, well, where's your blood quantum? We don't need that shit. You see this melanin? Then my blood quantum right here. Okay? Right here. You see it? Copper tone. Indian red. Indian red. But spiritual sovereignty, we don't have to negotiate, guys. Recognition is not something you can steal from us. Self-identification does not mean that anyone can claim anything. It does not mean that history doesn't matter. Right? It means that our ancestors named themselves. Our memory did not start with colonization. And identity isn't owned by the state. Now, when the government was formed, they felt like they was going to teach us a history where it started with. That's why when people go to school and you learn history, it starts with the lies, the founding fathers. You're going to learn about you were enslaved. They're not going to tell you about how they was kidnapping people and doing slave raiding and slave patrol. They leave that part out intentionally just to make you feel like you just came over on a boat and they just was leading and kicking ass. And we know that ain't true. They're not going to tell you about the Seminole Wars. They're not going to tell you about none of that. The Yamasee Wars. They're not going to tell you about none of that. We was over here kicking ass because we was off glass. That's why Florida has the highest per capita of law enforcement. That's why the United States has the highest in the world incarceration rate. The highest in the world. And they not even the highest population in the world. That should tell you something. That should tell you that slave raiding, slave patrolling, still going on to this day. And if you do too much on this app, they will lock you up and ban your page. That's another form of control. Make you stay in line. Don't say too much. Don't do too much because we still control this app. We still colonize everything. White supremacy can control land deeds. It can control records. It can control the memory, but it cannot. It can control the money, but it cannot control your memory. The whole goal of white supremacy is to give you amnesia about who you are, to make you feel like you're from somewhere else. So you don't even have the suspicion to go and research. You won't even teach your kids the truth. We have been bamboozled so bad that we don't even talk about the truth in the family. We don't even talk about history. History is a long lost subject. Now we focus on Christmas, Thanksgiving, and Halloween. We not worrying about great-great-grandma and what they did and what they went through. The biggest eye-opener for me that I'm happy that I found before I got off of this earth is knowing who my ancestors are. Giving them that respect in the spirit. I have connected with so many of my Niji family members. They might not know that they are Indians, but I connected. I was finding them all on Facebook like, wow, my tribe right here. Right here. And I'm looking for them over there somewhere. And they right here. People I never met before. Right here. That's what white supremacy will do. It will have you feeling like you're not even worth researching your own self. And you'll know you woke when you have the urge. You just can't help. You can't even sleep because you got to go do that ancestry. You have to see your ancestors. Alright? So they can't control the blood. They can't control our spirit. They can't control what we know. They can't ban us from reading no more. They can't deport us. That's why they patrol. That's why they gonna forever try to bully you out your spot. And that's why they shout to prove it. But you don't gotta shout nothing. You don't have to prove nothing. Because deep down, guess what? They know. And the truth don't need permission. We never needed it. Never gonna need it. And we're gonna keep dropping these receipts. Whether you like it or not. Alright? Whether you like it or not. Yep. What did I miss? It said, yep, be home. Thank y'all for following. Yep, be humble, then rise like Phoenix. Those native cards, they show off like it means something. Come on, the government gave you that. Like, why would we think that that means something? That don't mean nothing, bro. The fact that you actually showing that proves that we're the indigenous ones, because the indigenous ones were the ones enslaved. The indigenous ones were the ones counted out because it was our land. So why would they do all this for 300-400 years and turn around and give us a reservation? Why? They know indigenous people were here. They just didn't want it to be us ever. We a constant reminder. Your melanin is a constant reminder for all the treason, the trafficking, the kidnapping that this government has did. That's why they hate you. Because you a constant reminder. And then when you confident too, and you know who you are, not only are you a reminder, you a threat. You a threat. That's why knowledge is power, guys. Y'all might think everything else is power, but knowledge is the biggest power you can have, because a pretendian could never sit you down. They could never tell you to have several seats. But when you know who you are, you know that history, they're going to have several seats, because all they got is the card, some government approval from a system that is focused on oppression and erasing people. How you so locked in, got grants, got this, when they was not doing this to the Indians. They was actually stripping everything away, not giving them stuff. So if you was giving anything, you were part of the takeover. You were a part of the robbery, part of the theft. Now you around here acting like you sacred. That's why we don't with y'all no more. Nobody don't really hold y'all up in high standard no more. That's why y'all on here mad, arguing with everybody. Oh no, we don't care. Stay over there. We don't care what y'all talking about. We don't care nothing about your Aunt Dan's. We don't care nothing about your peanut butter. Oh, y'all don't do the peanut butter jelly. That's us. What kind of dance y'all? I don't even know what y'all do over there. I do know that y'all copy us, so-called enslaved people. Everybody want to copy so-called enslaved people. Fuck out of here. Get out of here. You want to run track? Listen, we got plenty Niji for that. You want to play basketball? We'll put any of them on y'all. Y'all can't beat us in nothing. You can't beat us in history. You can't beat us in sports, singing, dancing, creation. If you so indigenous, where is the patents? You so indigenous, where is the creations? You so indigenous, why y'all ain't invent nothing but the TP? I gotta know. Hate shouts and yell out fear. Revolutions always start with whispered truth. Exactly. The hate yells out of fear, out of you knowing who you are, you out of your spot. You supposed to be black. You supposed to be lower than me. No, bitch. I'm sorry they lied to you on the reservation. I had someone come in the comments and they kind of pissed me off a little bit. I can't even lie. And they was like, they said, you wobble. They said, you don't know nothing. Go make something of yourself. I say, bitch, I got more degrees than you, I bet. More degrees than you. That's a promise. Y'all not known for getting degrees? Like, stop. Like, where is the Indian college or the pretending Native American college? That y'all not known for that? Education, and y'all not known for that. Invention, stop it. That's why I say, you indigenous, you're sacred. Your people have been erased. They invented everything. They the best at everything. Argue with your mama. We don't care. So just stop. Y'all already know. Trump already told y'all who invented everything. We did. The toilet stool y'all using right now, we did that. You should be thanking us that you don't have to shit on the TP floor. Okay? You should be thanking us, honestly. Not gonna even hold you. You should be thanking us for the air conditioning. I mean, we could go on and on. You should be the lights. You should be thanking us. You ain't in the dark in that TP. You should be thanking us. Instead, you on here trying to bully people. Fuck out of here, man. I'm done for tonight. I can't convince my dad to wake up. Did God create humans once or twice? You said you can't convince your dad to wake up. Hello. They are slipping. They have problems with their DNA. They're getting older quicker and quicker. The reason why is because they've been lied to about the skin. See, the thing with the skin is, which is why they need you to know that their skin is magical. Melanin prevents aging. If you don't have melanin and your skin doesn't have a defense mechanism against the sun. So the real scientific evidence about melanin is that once the sun hits your skin, the pigment called melanin, which they have been trying to denature and get into their body, but we have naturally, the pigment reacts to the sun, right? And it prevents that sun and that UV light from going into your cells and damaging your DNA. Now, if you don't have melanin, you need to use some type of sunscreen to block out the sun. You don't have that natural filter against the sun. So what the sun does is it goes right through your skin because the melanin is not there. It goes right to your DNA and it causes skin cancer. That's why type 1 skin, they say, white skin, Caucasian skin, has the highest risk of cancer. But type 6, they say has the lowest risk of cancer because we have true melanin, which they call eumelanin. But in school, they're not going to teach the kids about eumelanin. They're just going to have the picture of the skin and say this is the largest organ in the body. They're not going to say what type of the largest organ in the body is the best largest organ in the body. You see what I'm saying? It's simple stuff like that. They got us hating our skin, targeted for being black, for being melanated. They want to just call it black. You better be happy with who you are. Be happy with who you are. So when we talk about aging, that's why if you don't have melanin, you will age faster if you don't protect your skin. And as far as your dad not waking up, someone said something to me that, I learned 3 weeks ago. Everyone is going to wake up on their own pace. Some of us are on level 5. We living in the 5D. And some of us are still living in the 3D. What does this mean? We use that sun energy, not just block it. Exactly. That's why I say the sun UV rays hit the melanin. The melanin does chemical magic. It does chemical magic. Right? It dissociates the ultraviolet rays, which are very damaging, and it works with our body. This is why biology tells the truth about white supremacy. So melanin isn't just a skin color. It's a biological polymer, a natural radiation absorber, a protector against UV damage, a regulator of the circadian rhythm, involved in vision, hearing, and the brain. And if you lack this, maybe that's why your ass so damn dumb and evil and hateful. Right? Melanin bursts the sunlight into usable energy. So the whole time you around here hating your skin color, and it's protecting you because you done let these people lie to you. The same way they lied about history, they lied about your skin. It should click. But some people not going to wake up because they too deep in. They're not going to read. Remember what I said? To be a leader, you got to be a reader. Some people bent on believing in colonization because it's too easy. To wake up, it ain't that easy to wake up because you have to be curious about this type of information. You can't be one of the ones who close your ears, close your eyes. I have people, oh no, don't tell me nothing. Oh no. I already know how that is because I've been in that. I was one of those people. Oh no, that's evil. Oh no. I was one of those people. I just heard Paul Mooney say you better know who you are and love who you are. Every piece of you, you better love who you are. What's up, Louis Grassroots 4473? Say what up, Doc? What up? Right? So melanin is very powerful. Melanin is not accidental. The trees have chlorophyll, a pigment that helps produce, energy for them to grow and produce fruit. We have melanin. Anything that's natural to the world has this pigment. So when you talk about white supremacy, what exactly does that mean? Not clicking. Wait, without melanin, I gotta surrender to a lifetime of retardation. I will not. What? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Without melanin, You have to protect your skin a lot more, and you have a higher risk of getting skin cancer. But they teach us to hate our skin. For instance, when I was a little girl growing up, we talked about bullying. The girl who, took her life on TikTok because she was being bullied. When I was a little kid, I was bullied. Being this chocolate in Florida, in the South, at a time when white supremacy is leading the narrative in the schools where little kids we know now are taught to hate melanated people in the household. So when they come out to school, they ready to bully. So I was one of those kids who was bullied. I thought that being dark was bad. My dad's darker than me. I thought it was bad because this was taught. But now that I know the truth, I could never hate the skin that I'm in. I could never hate it. I love my melanin. I love everything that it does for me. I love how it protects me. I love how it coats my whole body, and it's just a bomb. Hate it for what? No way, no how. We heavy in copper and carbon. Everybody has melanin, but so-called white people are heavy in sulfur. I ain't know that. Drew, that was a little harsh. Dot. LOL. It's all good. I can hear your point. Yeah, that was a lot. You said a lot. You said, wait. I ain't gonna even repeat it. The darker the flesh, the deeper the roots. The blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. You already know it. You already know it. So before these time zones was created, before the clocks, before the work schedules, human life was regulated with the sunrise, the sunset, the seasons, the latitude. Melanin was developed as adaptive intelligence to the sun's intensity. So you can imagine a pretendian down in the south during the hottest part of the summer when the agriculture grows the best. Where your melanin at to even be down there, boy? You can't be down there. You weren't the agriculturalist. Like, just stop it. That made boys get haircuts. I never knew I could grow locks. That's crazy. Yeah, they would make you get haircuts, anything to disenfranchise you from who you really are. If people understood that melanin is adaptive, protective, and intelligent, then the whole inferiority complex collapses. That's why they don't want to talk about melanin, unless they're trying to secretly make it, or secretly. It's the one molecule they still haven't figured out how to denature. That's how powerful you are. Melanated folks is beautiful. I can respectfully envy that. White supremacy requires darkness. It's primitive, it's defective, it's lies, it's just, it's sad. It's sad. So, I think we have covered enough for tonight. I think we know that regardless of the rooms that you walk into, hold your head up high. If people don't want to wake up, maybe it's not time for them to wake up. Everybody wakes up at a different pace. And I've learned how to be gentle with people who are not woke, but if they come and say, hey, I had someone say, hey, you need to join the church. Listen, unless you want me to preach to you about history, don't preach to me. I already been there, done that. And after reading what the Pope and all these people said, it's a no. It's a negative for me. I know that our spiritual creator has my back without me surrendering to colonization. And I'm still an infant in this knowledge. I don't know everything. I'm still learning, just like I missed something. Not to be contrary, Doc, but Northeastern State U and Oklahoma State University are tribally affiliated with the Cherokee Nation in Tahlequah, Oklahoma, the first tribal med school. I hear that, but we got a long way to go, y'all. We got a long way to go when it comes to our identity, because right now we are completely locked out of self-identifying. But today, like I said, I saw the one group in Georgia. They were recognized by the state of Georgia. So there is hope, and it's happening slowly. Hopefully more will happen in our lifetime. Hopefully we continue to teach the youth this history so they're not being whitewashed or taught white supremacy in history classes. They're still going to school, learning that they were slaves. This is where it starts at. This is where the assimilation kill the Indians, save the man starts at in school. So, that's a tough battle. There's melanated drinks, and I don't want to know where that melanin came from. Yeah, I saw that melanated drinks on TikTok. White ladies drinking melanin. It's just weird. I don't know where it came from. Some people were saying it's from harvesting. I don't know. I don't know. It's something that I'm not really qualified to speak on where it's coming from, but I guess we can guess where it's coming from. It's a little creepy to me. But that's what's going on. While some people are around the world bleaching their skin because they don't know that the melanin is actually one of the most important things to protect your DNA that you were blessed with, they're bleaching their skin. Meanwhile, you have people who don't have it trying to tan and drink melanin and do the things to get melanin because it's very powerful. This is how you can get tricked out of the truth because they know the truth and they're secretly trying to develop something to get melanin. If the whole world could be melanated, there would be no white supremacy. If the whole world could be melanated, there would be no hate. Right? Because everyone would be protected from the sun. We will all look the same, but that is not the case. So it breeds hate. It breeds these type of negative feelings. So I don't want to be hateful. I just speak because I know the truth and I know how much the hate is perpetuated and I know how much bullying is perpetuated. I don't really hate nobody. I hate the history. Actually, if you white supremacy, I might hate you. I might hate your ass and your ancestors and everything you stand for. Not holding back that. But if you positive and you trying to break the history and you trying to listen and understand and you understand what your ancestors did, then you ain't welcome to the cookout. But hey, I appreciate you for acknowledging it. But at the same time, yeah, we not falling for the okie doke anymore. Just saying, Doc, sometimes they accidentally educate folks. Alright. So we are done for tonight. I hope y'all have a lovely, lovely night. Just remember that governments collapse, empires fall, ideologies expire, but the sun keeps rising. The sun is our friend, and biology keeps telling the truth. So that's why it had to be silenced. That's why it has to be silenced, and it will not be silenced forever. Your melanin don't argue with nobody. You don't have to argue with nobody. If you want to go live and talk your shit, talk your shit. You want to post about who you are, post it. Just know you're going to have some trolls come try to shut you down. All right? But you're not falling for it. Don't get on here feeling bad, feeling none of that. Know who you are. Period. I'll see y'all tomorrow. This is Dr. Cheapest Sunflower, and I gotta go. Thank y'all. Thank you, True Grit, for a trillion. I think I read that right. Thank y'all for following, liking. We hit our goal of 1K hard. Y'all got it to 6.8K. And I actually feel better. I was feeling really sick, but now I feel a little better from hanging with the tribe. So I'm about to go relax, get some sleep. Have a great night, Dr. Cheap This. Get well, hydrate. Yes, this is exactly what I'm going to do, and I will be back tomorrow because we not failing with this consistency challenge. We growing every day. I love y'all, and I will see y'all later. Bye-bye.